Well, Lisa's busy watering. What have we got on today, Lisa?
We are making the compost bin. We've moved it from the top of the property down to the lower, more accessible area. And hopefully you'll be moving some banana trees for me as well.
Banana trees?
Yep.
But they're doing quite well. When we first arrived, they were only very small and struggling. And that was, about 10 months ago. But now, we've given a bit of love and care and they're doing really well. Got some banana blossoms on there. Show you what I'm doing today is I'm putting together this compost bins. They were at the top of the property, but we've relocated down to the bottom part. This is more accessible for the mower and just make it easy on our lives. So that's one of our worm farms that we've just put together. I've just laid all this rocks which I got down from the creek, put that down yesterday morning. There's a corrugated iron ready to go for the compost bins, so I'll get stuck into it.
It's the home of our new compost bin.
So what I've decided to do is mount corrugated iron to the timber, so that'll give it a really good fixing. And the iron which comes out, which creates the bins, then I'll use a T-post or a star picket into the ground, and then I'll just wire it in. So at the moment I'm just going to sort of level it out because it's a little bit higher just here, so I'll just make it so it's a bit more level.
Okay, so I'm making some potting mix up for my seeds to grow seedlings. I find that here in the tropics, the subtropics, a lot of seeds don't survive, so it's better if you raise them as seedlings. And we have a lot of ants in the garden. We have bandicoots that come and dig up the soil, so after you water it, they'll dig it up and it disturbs the seedlings as they grow. So it's better to raise a lot of the seeds into punnets or small pots, which I prefer, and then transplant them. I'm making up my own seedling mix, and this is some coir. So we buy it in a square block, at a block of coir. It's a coconut fibre, and it just soaks in water, and over time it'll all absorb the water, so it's really good water absorbing. It doesn't have any nutrition in it for the soil, but I add mushroom compost as well, and a little bit of sand, and we mix that all together. So I'll show you the process later on. So Des is just finishing off the last bay in the compost bins, and I've been weeding and mulching
So I've just finished the compost bins, setting them all up, and Lisa's kick-starting with some sawdust and some mulch that we wood chipped the other day.
This is a pile of horse manure and sawdust. We got it from a neighbouring farm that has horses.
2 doors up. How close is that?
Okay, so today I've been potting up some seedlings. All of these are flowers so far, but I will be doing some vegetables here. These are seedlings that are best to be sown in pots, or you can sow direct or in pots. So I've chosen to sow them into pots so I can control them a little bit with cold temperatures. I can bring them under the house if it's too cool, to protect them a little bit. So what I do is I'm just using regular little pots, and I mass plant in the pot. And I just find this is the easiest way. The plants can get a good root development. And what I'm doing is I'm just making 3 light rows. I'm planting daisies at the moment in all different colours. So I just look on the pack and see how deep you have to sow them. So these are 1 millimetre. So they're very, very lightly sown. You don't need to push them down into the soil at all. And often that's the reason why seeds don't germinate, is because they're planted too deep. So they're very little seeds. I'll probably put 8 or 10 in the pot. And the ones that germinate, then I'll plant them out into the garden. I just find that's much easier. So there's 4 left. Just stick them back in the seed packet. And I just use a pop stick, and I just gently put a little bit of soil over the seeds. These ones don't like to be deep. There we go, another one done. On the label I always put the name of the plant, the date that I've sown it, and the size that it grows to. That really helps me determine where I'm going to put them in the garden.
Well, I've just finished off the compost bins and heading back up to the studio. So Lisa's just finished her seedlings, and she's decided just to run down to the bottom of the property, down near the creek, and grab some grass clippings. You can see down there in the distance.